let's get to the lesson. The first tip is to join a conversation group. Join a conversation group. So when we think of joining a conversation group, we think about speaking, yeah? But also we practice listening when we go to a conversation group. So it's not just about practicing your own speaking skills, but it's also about listening to the other people in the group and understanding what they're saying. So picking up new vocabulary from them, listening to the ways that those people speak, and so on. So joining a conversation group can be a great way to practice building your own listening skills. Okay, next tip. The next tip is to make yourself a study plan and establish a routine. Make yourself a study plan and establish a routine. So this is a tip that's pretty basic, and you have to do this, or you should do this, no matter what skill you're working on improving. But within your study plan, make sure that you have something that's going to help you with your listening skills and you do it regularly. So that means inside your study plan, you have something to listen to. So you're not just reading textbooks or you're not just like looking at vocabulary words and flashcards. Make sure you also have something in your study plan that will help you to build your listening as well. Okay, the next tip is to watch movies in the language you're studying, especially on devices you can use to repeat selected scenes. So this means if you are watching on like your phone or on a computer, something that lets you rewind, you can use that as a tool for your studies. So when you listen to a scene, you can go back and listen to it again to check for new words or maybe something that you couldn't quite catch the first time around. So when you're listening to movies or maybe YouTube videos or even audio lessons, make sure to take the time to just go back and check something when you're not sure about it. This can be a great habit. Okay, the next tip is to look for root words when listening to something. Look for root words when listening to something. What does that mean? So this means when you are listening to new words, try to think about the base word inside a word that you don't know. So let's think of an example. For example, if you hear the word comparable, you might think, what does that word mean? What is happening there? So comparable is a word that's made up of the root compare, and it also has able at the end. Able is used to refer to something that we can do. So comparable is like saying compare and something that we can do. So that means something that we can compare. So when you hear a new word, try to think about the roots that you might be able to identify in the word. This does not work for every word by any means, but if you hear a new word that's quite long, you might see if you can identify, if you can find some key root sounds within that word that can give you a hint about the meaning. The next tip is to use the shadowing technique. Use the shadowing technique. So yes, we talk about using shadowing to improve your speaking skills, but you can also use shadowing to improve your listening skills. This can be a great way to find gaps in your listening. So if you can't quite catch a vocabulary word or you're not sure about the grammar that's used in a sentence, you can identify that when you're listening and try to check a script or check a textbook or something to identify those parts that you need to work on a little bit more.
抖音